Okay, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Hello. I'm speaking into the microphone. Today I'm going to show you just a little quick Photoshop tutorial. Actually, it's not going to be quick. This is probably going to be a long video. This is kind of I would say this is more of like an advanced Photoshop thing. So like you already have to have some knowledge of Photoshop. I'm just assuming you do. So it's easy to Google things about Photoshop. So if you don't know how to do a certain thing, then just Google it and you should be fine. So today we're doing double exposures, but we're going to, make it look a little more interesting than just your standard, like just overlay two pictures kind of thing. And that looks like this. Now before we get started, I'd just like to say thank you all for subscribing to me. I have 100 subscribers now, so I just passed 100 subscribers. Thank you all for subscribing. There was this weird random burst of subscribers. I just went from like 85 subscribers to just over 100 now. Probably has something to do with my frequent upload schedule. If you would like to stay updated with what I'm doing on social media and stuff like that, you can follow me on Instagram. I also post updates to my Facebook page. I know no one really uses Facebook, but that's a thing. Cat hair everywhere. So double exposure is basically combining two images together to make something new. And we're gonna do that with this image of my brother and then this image I took of the Toronto skyline a little while ago. So we're gonna open our two images in Photoshop like this. I've already edited both of them just a little bit in Lightroom just so they look sort of the way I want them to. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just line up this photo here with how I'm going to want it to look in the end. So I don't want any of that water in the shot. So I'm gonna do something like this. And then I'm going to expand this so that it covers up to the very top of his head. You can lower the opacity of the image on top just for the sake of lining it up. And now we're gonna mask out the sky. So there's gonna be a few different layer masks and we're sort of going to layer the layer masks because you can put a layer mask on the image, put that image in a folder, put a layer mask on that folder, and you can sort of embed them that way. So the first layer mask we're gonna do is removing the sky from this image. So you can really extract the image however you want. I'm going to be using the RGB channels to do it. To do this, just click through the channels and find the one that has the most contrast to it. It's usually the blue channel. So we're going to take this and duplicate it. And then we're going to modify it. So we're going to go adjustments, levels, and we want to basically create a layer mask out of this. So we want all the city stuff to be black, and we want the sky to be white. So we can do that just by dragging this stuff down. Now you can take a black paintbrush and just paint in all this other stuff here that got missed. Once you have your selection, turn back on all the other channels and you can turn off the channel you used to create the selection. And we're gonna go to select and mask. We're gonna smooth it just a little bit and then also shift the edge in a little bit so there's not that weird sort of halo around everything. And we're going to output this selection to a layer mask. So we need to extract the model because we're going to confine the layers of the city inside the person here. So we're going to duplicate our person here. I'm going to use the quick selection tool, but then for more complicated stuff like around his hair, we'll refine the edge in a second. So now we're going to go select and mask, and we're going to select the refine edge brush tool and just come in here. And we're just gonna brush in this area here. And just like magic, it's going to select just the parts we want. That is how easy it is to be a Photoshop magician these days. Okay, and we have our selection. So I don't think I need to feather it. I'll give it a little bit of smoothness and we'll put that in a layer mask. So now we have our person here just on its own layer. So we're gonna take our skyline here, put it inside a folder or group, whatever you want to call it, and then we're going to copy this layer mask to the group. Now what that's going to do is you can see over here now it's confining our buildings to the edge of our model here, and that's what we want. So now we're going to put this folder inside one more folder because we're going to add to our layer mask. This time we're going to take our pen tool because we only want the buildings on the left side of the CN Tower, but we don't want it to just be a straight cut down the middle where we're cutting off buildings. I want it to sort of follow the building. So we're gonna put points here. It's not gonna be perfect, but it won't be too noticeable anyway. We're gonna put points here like this. This whole thing is really up to interpretation. I don't even know why you're watching this video. You can probably just do this yourself. Now we have everything of the buildings that we want, and we've split it up into different layer masks. That way we can affect just certain areas of it if we want. Technically, this can all be done in one layer mask, But this way it's a lot easier for you to go back and edit certain things. Come over to where his jacket is, and we're going to put his jacket over top, so it's almost going to look like the buildings are hiding underneath his jacket, or sweater, whatever you want to call it. This is, obviously you're not going to be able to do something like this with every type of double exposure you have, but I think little things like this is what sort of adds more, it looks like you put more thought into it. So now our next step in this whole process is to remove this part of him, the part of on the other side of this tall tower here, the CN tower, if you're from Canada, or I don't know, maybe you're not from Canada and you know what the CN tower is. Is the CN tower like a well-known building? Like I know what the Empire State Building is, or like the Eiffel Tower in Paris or something like that. Is the CN tower like that? I honestly don't know. But basically we're going to get rid of this whole part of him, and since there's no actual part to that image, we need to do some clone stamping. I'm probably going to fast forward this because it's just clone stamping, it's nothing special. Yeah, good luck. Clone stamping can be brutal, but if you do it right, it looks really good. So time lapse that. Okay. Okay, so I just clone stamped that out completely by hand, and I definitely did not copy the clone stamp from the other image I did onto this one. I definitely didn't do that. Moving on. So you've clone stamped out your person. Apparently you didn't do a very good job because you left this mess right here. Okay, so at this point you're basically done. So you're going to take your skyline folder and change the blending mode to multiply. So multiply removes the brighter parts of the image and keeps the darker parts. All this does is allows you to see through the buildings and see his outfit, which makes it look like his person is defined by where the buildings are, which I think looks kind of cool. Alright, now I like to add some fake light to this to make it look like the sun is coming in from the skyline. First I'm going to just change the curves of the skyline just a little bit. And now on this layer here, we're just going to take our brush, make it nice and soft, and just add a nice big orange blob right about here. So that does not look good, but we're going to put a Gaussian blur on it, blur it out a little bit more like that, hit OK. Now change the blending mode to add, and then lower the opacity, just like that. So it's very subtle, but it sort of blends the two images together a little bit more. I think it looks better. So yeah, then you can just add some color corrections and some little edits like that just to blend them together, and voila, you've completed your image. So yeah, that's how you do a double exposure, make it stand out a little bit more. If you guys enjoyed this video, you can leave a like, subscribe for more content, you can check out my social media, links down below, and yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video. He has been meowing this whole video, he wants my attention.